Welcome to Americana Archives. Today's headline is Chicken Fighter's Arrest. The subheadline says, at Mound Builders Park early Sunday morning. It says, about 7 o'clock Saturday evening, a message was received at headquarters from the police of Columbus, stating that a large cocking main had been attempted in or near Columbus for the night, but that the police had put the ban on it. The fighters then chartered a special car and came to Newark and took possession of the Mound Builders Park Hotel. About 2:30 o'clock Sunday morning, by Captain Charles Swank, Sheriff Frank Slauba, and 7 police officers went to Mound Builders Park Hotel and gathered in 49 cockfighters from perhaps 15 different cities in Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois. The chickens were confiscated, loaded in the patrol wagon, and the men were marched through the snow and in zero weather for 2 miles to the county jail and the city prison. Sunday morning, Mayor Swartz and Safety Director Wayne Collier went to the county jail about 7:30, held court, and fined 39 of the offenders $10 and costs each, making $17 in each case. They then went to the city prison and arranged the 10 remaining prisoners and fined them a like amount. Most of the accused paid the fines, and the others are expected to do so. The amount collected was $622, and if the remaining fines are paid, the total amount will be $700 even. With 1 or 2 exceptions, every man paid promptly, each having a roll of money on his clothes. One man had a roll aggregating $1,000. Several of the prisoners proved to the satisfaction of the court that they were guiltless, as they had arrived on the scene late and didn't have a chance to get in on the fighting yet. The local police were content to wait until the main was on in full force before they made an effort to break it up and arrest the offenders. The police officers were notified to meet at a certain place shortly after midnight, and every man obeyed the orders of their superior officer. In view of the fact that the location of the main was outside of the city limits, and wishing the assistance of the sheriff in making the raid, Captain Swank called Sheriff Slauba, who readily responded and accompanied the squad. When the officers arrived at the hotel and made their presence known, there was one wild scramble to get away, and several were successful, but the major portion of the fighters were gathered in. A large number of the chickens evidently belonged to those who escaped, and the chickens are still at the prison. The owners, rather than pay the fine, forfeited the ownership. What will be done with the fowls is yet undecided. When all was in readiness, the captain gave the order to forward march, and the army moved forward through the cold and snow to prison. Included in the list of prisoners was a county auditor from a nearby county, whose name was not given, and in fact every name that was given was fictitious, hence no names are used. Besides, there were lawyers, doctors, merchants, saloonists, gamblers, and other persons represented. It was learned, however, that Columbus, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Alliance, Mount Vernon, Coshocton, Zanesville, Circleville, Sunbury, Marysville, and Lima were all represented, but not a Newark man was in the party, it evidently having been so hurriedly arranged that the tip had not gone out in Newark. The city treasury is greatly enriched by the raid. This is the 3rd cockfight at the park in the last 2 months. The first was held in Forel Hall, and the second in the dancing pavilion. The weather Saturday night was too cold for these places, so they pulled out the fight in the basement of the hotel. The officers captured 20 or 30 gamecocks during the raid, and these are quartered at the city prison and county jail. The birds hideous with their crowing. The birds were surrendered as fast as they were identified. It is said that there were 95 paid admissions to the fight. This story came from the great state of Ohio, being reported in the Granville Times of January 18th, 1912. Thank you for joining us today. If you want to continue to uncover all of America's lost and forgotten history, then remember before you leave to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and remember to like and comment below. And we will see you next time on Americana Archives.